Hello, my name is Randy Rolfe, and I'm an independent Nikken consultant, and this is a showcase. So I'm hoping that you're here to learn about Nikken. And just a moment, let me make sure that we've got everybody muted. Okay. And we're going to be sharing about Nikken's products, and there are many other recordings and live presentations every week about building the business and about the Nikken technologies in particular. So be sure and talk to the person who sent you to this recording or this live presentation. And I don't know what that black thing is moving down across my face, but then you can find out where these other programs are, and they're listed on the Royal Alliance website, and it's www.theroyalalliance.com. And so this 30 minutes, we're going to try to give you a taste of what we've been enjoying as users and consultants with Nikken. So I'm going to share my screen here briefly because we have a nice little PowerPoint that makes it easy to share our vision of Nikken. Nikken is the active wellness company. It's all about self-care through non-medical products. And Nikken developed its first product over 40 years ago in Japan, the healthiest country in the world, where they spend 90% of their healthcare dollar on prevention, and we're the opposite in the US. We spend 90% of our healthcare on disease after it happens, and a significant portion of it just into the last 2 years trying to prolong people's lives. But the quality of life isn't very good at the end there. It's really about taking care of ourselves through active wellness and living a life in balance. And I love that about Nikken because it's based on the idea of balance. Not is more better or bigger is better, but balance. And that's how the body works. It's always looking for balance. So living a life in balance makes a lot of sense. The core idea is that we want to surround ourselves every day with things that support good health, good function, mental, physical, spiritual, emotional health. And that depends on our small choices every day and the compounding effect that those have. We can make big resolutions like we're going to lose 30 pounds, or we're going to join a fitness club next week, or we're going to say positive things to our kids starting Monday, but it's the daily choices every day. We make hundreds of them every day, and they all add up, and they have a compounding effect. They all work together so that these small choices plus consistency over time produce huge radical differences for everything in our lives, whether it's health, relationships, happiness, success, income. Even it affects how we work and what we accomplish. So what is the problem that we're trying to address? It's our healthcare system, and we call it a disease management system because it's up to us to support our health. And when I started 19 years ago with Nikken, things weren't even as bad as they are now. And stress is the biggest killer. It's a silent killer. We know it's responsible for over 70% of the things that kill us early, like heart disease, cancer, stroke, and diabetes, and overweight. And also all those things that reduce the quality of life: fatigue, depression, anxiety, allergies, sleep problems, and weight gain, and even weight loss, of course. So what do we do about stress? We try stress management, we try meditation, but the physical response of stress is huge. So we need ways of creating the right physical environment to support the body's healthy response to stress. Next is sleep. 70% of Americans have sleep issues. One poor night's sleep drops your immune system by 30 to 60%. And that's very serious because many, many people today have strange schedules. They can't get to sleep because of anxiety and stress, or their body's out of balance, so they wake up a lot, or can't get back to sleep, or when they wake up, they're tired and sore instead of restored and ready to go again. Air and water pollution are in the headlines every day now. We know that indoor pollution can be 100 times worse than outdoor, because since the 90s, when we closed up our houses to save on heating and cooling costs, we concentrated all these household chemicals that we bring in, and also negative ions that are outdoors are replaced by positive ions indoors, and the positive ions make it harder to breathe, they increase stress, and it's harder to relax. Water pollution, since Flint, Michigan, it's in the headlines all the time. Bottled water can have thousands of chemicals in it, including endocrine disruptors, agricultural chemicals, and a lot of headlines recently have said that the medications that went through other people first can be in your tap water. So we need to do things to purify our air and water. Of course, the people that are suffering the most are our children. They're not even getting on to a pure start. 60 years ago, everything was organic. Now, most people rely on commercially grown, chemical-laden foods. Obesity rates are at their highest. Over a third of Americans are obese. 1 out of every adolescent is obese, and 30% of the children are overweight, and it's rising still. And inadequate consumption of essential nutrients increases the risk of all those things that we're seeing earlier and earlier for children, particularly obesity, diabetes, and even cancer and heart diseases. Less than half of adolescents are getting the recommended amount of vegetables. Only 27.1% of high schoolers are getting the kind of activity that is recommended, and that's certainly understandable since they're carrying extra weight and don't have the energy they need because they're not eating or sleeping properly. Low-income families, of course, have it worse off. They're often in food deserts. They're targeted more for profitable commercial foods. They have, of course, more stress, anxiety, and depression because of their suppressed lifestyles. So what is the answer? Nikken's motto is humans being more. From the very beginning, it was about growing humans. And that's with both this whole package of wonderful products and the idea that we can free ourselves by sharing the products with others. Humans being more, we even have a full day training that focuses on how to become more of who you're supposed to be. So we call it being healthy by chance, not by choice. Sorry, said that wrong. Be healthy by choice, not by chance, because the statistics aren't good. If we leave it to chance, we are going to have health problems. So we need to choose active wellness, and that is getting involved in protecting your own wellness and healing yourself by supporting your body's own healing powers. So Nikken is the only international company with a comprehensive approach to holistic natural health. And from the very beginning, the founder, Mr. Masuda in Japan, said that living a life in true balance is based on balance in 5 pillars of health: healthy mind, healthy body, healthy family, healthy society, and healthy finances. And when I saw this, I thought this was wonderful because my husband and I had been young lawyers, Philadelphia lawyers, commuting from the suburbs into the city, and we found it very stressful. We weren't getting outdoors. We didn't have time to build a family. So we left, and we figured we gave up the big finances, but we wanted our health and our uh, healthy mind and having time with our family to be higher priority, and also contributing to society. So when we bought an old farmhouse in upstate New York, and we found a way to contribute to society. The farmers and Indians there were fighting an ultra high voltage transmission line that New York Power Company was putting across their land. And so we learned more about the physical effects of the increasing evidence of electricity everywhere, the alternating current that is completely alien to living systems. So when I heard about Nikken, I was like, oh, wow. Over in Japan, they were figuring this out. And then when I saw these 5 pillars of health, I thought, what a great thing to have a company that wants you to be able to contribute to society and a healthy finances without sacrificing your healthy mind, your healthy body, and your healthy family. So if you look at that, if there's 1 or 2 that you feel are weak, you don't have time for family, or you have health issues, or you're surrounded by negative people, competitive rather than cooperative people, or you just never have time or money to contribute to your community, or your finances are lagging, Nikken has solutions for you. But getting on to the products, Active Wellness gives you the Nikken Advantage. And Nikken started with insoles for the shoes to restore us to the natural magnetic energy of the earth, as if we're walking barefoot through the park instead of on concrete, steel, surrounded by electric and metal all the time. Then they developed a sleep system, and eventually water, and a line of nutritionals, an air filter, and an amazing light that's sitting here on my desk. And I also have the air filter here, and I'm sitting on a magnetic seat. And I'm covered with Nikken jewelry. So we have 3 categories, and I won't go into too much detail because I'm going to invite some of other people to share their stories. But we think of it in 3 categories: nutrition and skincare, environment, rest and relaxation. The rest and relaxation is really the core of Nikken's brilliance, because it's about restoring us to the natural energy fields. Since I started almost 20 years ago, we've also added the low frequency microwave from our cell towers and our mobile phones. And these actually can be shown very easily weaken our systems because they're alien energies. So Nikken's found ways to help our body get rebalanced, realigned with the magnetic products, the insoles, the back flex is a square you see that goes on your back, your lower back. It can also go on your chest, your tummy, anywhere there's stress. And the sleep system, that's the rolled up mattress pad and the comforter and the pillow if you're watching on the screen. And we have jewelry and lots of pads and little discs you can put anywhere that's stressed or hurting. You can stop hurting and feel good with Nikken. In the environmental area, our water system filters in at least 4 different ways, and then it adds back good energy, the magnetic energy, the far infrared energy, the ionic energy. We have the light, full spectrum light that gives extra blue. It doesn't flicker because it's LED. The air system filters 5 different ways and then restores those wonderful beneficial negative ions to your air. And we have a water system in the shower. And then the nutritionals. I studied nutrition, became a certified nutritionist in the 80s. And I was so excited to see that Nikken was also at the cutting edge of nutrition. And we'll talk some more about that too. So let me move on and share our personal experiences. When I joined Nikken, I really didn't expect any changes. We were doing really good nutrition, keeping active, staying outdoors a lot. And we had rewired our house to minimize the electric, and we were cooking with wood most of the time. But I did. I even felt better. I swim in the morning and I just didn't get tired. I do ballroom dancing, and when I dance, my balance is better. And when I'm running, I didn't get tired and my muscles didn't get sore. So those are the three things I noticed within the first week. And then my husband noticed dramatic change because he had always breathed through his mouth because he had serious asthma as a child. Most of the symptoms went away when we improved our nutrition, but it wasn't until Nikken that he actually woke up one morning breathing through his nose. So he was sleeping quietly, which was great for me, but he also was able to breathe through his handsome nose all the time, which made his he got fewer colds, and because the nose is a wonderful filter. So that was great change for him. So now I want to invite some of our other people online. Let's see, Karen Rose, are you there? She's a co-host with me. And Hattiejane.
Yes,
so if you want to unmute yourself, there she is. And she doesn't have a camera yet on her computer, but she will soon, I hear. So Karen Rose, thanks again for filling in for me these last 3 weeks. And I'm excited to be collaborating with you for this show. So please tell us your story.
Well, I just wanted to say that, it's been great to share the last couple of weeks with Hattiejane. We've had some really great discussions. And I just want to briefly say that Carolyn Trotta is on the phone. She was here in the Pleasant Hill area, and we worked together at a launch and met each other. And she moved back to Connecticut recently. But one of the things that we shared is we both come from an athletic background. I'm a horseback rider, yoga teacher. I taught skiing when I was in art school and have been a downhill ski instructor. And one of the things we talked about was how these products, and she has a very dramatic story, so I just want to briefly say that we both love the way these products can be used for bringing you back from athletic, usually challenges we've had with injuries, with me, it was my knee. I had a problem with my knee that's totally healed up. I've been able to avoid surgery, and I use these products for, when I ride, I get up in the morning. If I haven't ridden in a while, I feel terrific in the morning. And it's so different to have these products, especially for people in sports. So I just wanted to share that and say that I'd like to have Carolyn Trotta come on. Carolyn, if you want to unmute yourself.
Okay.
Welcome, Carolyn. So nice to meet you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I was very happy to come on this morning. Karen Rose called me last week. I've been with Nikken almost 15 years. I had a severe back injury when I was 16 years old. These things you wish you could go back and say, oh God, I wish I hadn't taken that dare. I tried barefoot water skiing and I fell going 39 miles an hour. And I tore all the soft tissue in my low back on the left side. So went to the orthopedic surgeon and he put me in physical therapy for 6 months, 3 times a week so I could move. And it never got better. So I just, my mother was very smart at the time and just said, you know what, don't give her any pain medication because I know this is going to be a long-term injury, and she was concerned about me taking medication. So for the next 17 years, I suffered every single day. And I wore it on my face, and I didn't know that. And then fortunately, 17 years later, a dear friend shared Nikken with me. And I just jumped all in. Nikken's the base of what we talk about is sleep. And I didn't realize that I never really slept well. My mother said as a child, I never slept well. I was always that half healthy kid. So I just jumped in. I got the sleep system. The water had come out. I wore the Backflex, which is now the Magflex. I wore the insoles. And within a few days, I started waking up earlier and earlier. So I started going to bed later and later, and I was waking refreshed. And that was something that I never had before. I was not a morning person. And then I started noticing my back started feeling better. I wasn't standing with my foot off to the side. I used to always have my left foot out as like a little kickstand and all my weight on my right side. And I was able to stand up. And that winter, I started doing something I never thought I'd do. I picked up snowboarding. I'd been a downhiller for years, and I never thought with my back would ever be able to snowboard. And I started snowboarding at age 34. And at 38, I got married, and I decided, well, I want to have kids. And, didn't know how that was going to go. A lot of people I knew younger were having issues getting pregnant. And I'd been sleeping on my Nikken sleep system for 5 years. And lo and behold, I got pregnant in 3 weeks and had completely uneventful pregnancies. Only gained 25 pounds. I never had swelling. I never had morning sickness. I was hydrated with the Pymag water. Everyone I knew was nibbling on saltines because they all had morning sickness and they didn't want to drink my Pymag water. I was like, that's okay. And I know people say, oh, it's genetic. Well, my sister ate saltine crackers until the time she gave birth to her 2 kids. My mother had morning sickness right up until the day she delivered my sister. So if it's genetic, I guess the only thing I was doing different was I was drinking Pymag water and I was sleeping on the sleep system, taking the nutritionals. So my children are 7 and 8, and they've been raised in a wellness home. They drink Pymag water. They sleep on the sleep system. They wear a power band around their neck. My kids never get sick. We lived outside the country for 4 years in the UK, and they only drank Pymag water. I asked the kids over there were losing their teeth like at age 4 and 5. And I asked the dentist over there, and she said it was, as you'd mentioned, the contaminants in the water. It was all of the hormones in the water that their jaws were maturing faster. So they were losing their teeth sooner. So they would have gaps in their teeth for a long time. My kids didn't start losing their teeth till they were 7. So, they're never sick, and they go to sleep, they wake up, and they're full of energy. And at 48, thank God for Nikken, or else I wouldn't be able to keep up with them. So it's been an amazing 15 years with Nikken. And I thank God that my friend had the courage to pick up the phone and share Nikken with me.
Thank you, Carol.
I muted myself. Go ahead, Karen Rose.
I'm just going to say, I just want to say thank you for that story. I as well, feel the same way. I'm so thankful for the Nikken products. I'm so thankful for the person that introduced me to these products.
Can you speak up a little, Karen Rose?
Can you hear me better now?
That's better, yes.
Anyhow, I just want to say that we shared the same enthusiasm for the Nikken products and being introduced to these products and how they can be used, especially if you want to stay physically active, into your elderly years. And we have incredible products that can keep us healthy and keep us, it's such a high health and high incredible enthusiasm for these products. So I just wanted to say the same thing about sleep. I didn't have a problem sleeping. I had a problem getting up. I was always tired in the morning. And with these products, I get up. I'm just awake, and I journal. I don't have to be concerned about when I go to bed, and I wake up early in the morning and I'm refreshed. And it's just the sleep system is phenomenal. So I agree with that.
Very cool. So, Hattiejane, would you like to add something? I know you have a lot of great stories too.
Yes, I have, but there are some other wonderful people on the line. I'd love to hear their stories. I had 2 weeks of yap yap, and boy, did I hear more ums and ums. Bless your hearts for listening, and please tell us some more.
So, Carolyn, what since you're new on our call, how do you share the products with other people? What do you ask them?
Well, a lot of times, because my kids are young and I'm 48, most of the moms I'm hanging around are in their 30s, and some of them in their 20s. And they're quite amazed when they find out that I'm in my 40s. And they ask, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Well, it's water I drink, and it's the skincare I use." And that kind of piques their interest. And I invite people to my wellness home, and I share the products with them. And then I put them in touch with other people, or great videos like the ones that you guys make. And I do a lot of the kinesiology, the muscle testing, and the one with when you use a cell phone with somebody. With any product, we can do it and show how, because everyone has a cell phone on their person. It's either carrying it in their hand or they have it in their back pocket. And I mean, when I see teenagers walking around like that, I'm like, oh my gosh, we've really done them a major disservice. It's wonderful to be in touch with people, but it's been at the expense of our health. So I look for people that are, open to being healthy. They are looking for opportunities and they want to hear more, So I just, I build a relationship with somebody, and if I hear a need that comes up, then I put it out there. When I first got involved, I was so excited about Nikken. I was like, oh my gosh, everything that was happening to me, I couldn't believe it. And I just was like, whoa, 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 whoa. And they're like, whoa, whoa. So I had to take a step back. I'm like, okay, maybe not everyone is going to understand this and everything. So change my approach. I listen to the leaders. And so in my everyday, when I come across people that, I had a FedEx delivery person come to the door, and he was really energetic, and, he just had great energy. And I was like, do you keep your opportunities open? And he's just like, he goes, yeah, why? And I took out the new Nikken Advantage trifold, and
Can someone explain the cell phone thing?
It's a muscle test. There's I'm trying to think. Is Ursula Dowd? There's a video. But what you do is you have somebody on the insoles, and you do a muscle test, and then you have them step back and you do a muscle test, and then you have them put a cell phone on their person and you do the same muscle test, and then you have them step back onto the insoles holding the cell phone, and you let them see for themselves the difference.
Okay, thanks.
How much effort it takes them to resist. And it's
Oh,
usually
thank you.
Wow.
We do the muscle test, but I didn't know the thing with the cell phone. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, it's very effective. I did that in Canada just a couple days ago at one of the presentations. And I also heard a story there of a friend who, a gentleman who was diagnosed with testicular cancer on the right side. And a friend told him that was because he put his cell phone in his pocket on his right side. And he didn't believe that, but then his best friend got testicular cancer on the left side, and he carries his cell phone on the left side. So they both were like, oh my goodness, what are we doing with these cell phones? So anybody women are getting strange breast cancers. They sometimes put their phones in their bras, which I just can't imagine. But women do that, not thinking, not knowing that these microwave energy fields disturb the cells at the core level. And
Brandy, you blacked out for a while. Can you go back to the man with the testicular? Because you went offline for a while.
Oh my, okay, sorry. Yeah, I had heard a story in Canada that a gentleman was diagnosed with testicular cancer in one side, and a friend told him he thought that it was, a Nikken friend told him it was probably because of the way he carried his cell phone on that side. And then he didn't believe it until his best friend was also diagnosed on the other side, and that's where he carries his phone. So they started to realize that these microwaves are not good for the body, and they disturb the cells at the core level, or the DNA. And they also suppress the immune system, because the immune system is always scouring for cells that go mad. But when the immune system is compromised by all this stress from poisons from our environment and the negative energy fields, it's harder for the immune system to destroy the nascent cancer cells. And also, we haven't even talked about the line of nutritionals that we have something for immunity, and all of our products support the biome, the healthy bacteria in the gut, which also support the immune system. So, and in Eastern medicine, where Nikken started in Japan, the focus is on digestion, and all of the health of the body starts there. And so let's talk a little bit more about the nutritionals that we take, and then we're going to have to shut down because we only have a couple more minutes. But Carolyn, do you want to share about the nutritionals you rely on from Nikken?
Yeah, well, I start my day with my 10-4, and I love that stuff. I take the nutritionals, the for women nutritionals, and I started doing the Kenzen Vital Balance. I didn't need to lose any weight, but it's hard for me getting the kids ready in the morning. I have to feed them, I have to make their lunches, and I have to get out the door. And I was finding I was getting out the door with nothing in my mouth. So the dog got fed, the kids got fed, and I didn't. So I started using it like almost every day, using it faithfully during the week. And like a couple weeks to it, I pants up. I was like, my pants falling down. And I was losing inflammation that was in my body, and I was feeling satiated until lunchtime. Hard-boiled egg, and I was great until lunchtime. So it made a huge difference. And the nutritionals, I mean, if you can see my nails just grow. I mean, I don't do anything to them. It's just amazing. And the hair care products, I'm hypothyroid, and one of the problems with that is your hair falls out. And my hair was getting really thin last October. And the shampoo came out, and I started using that. I mean, my hair was brittle. My hair used to come out in clumps when I would take more. My hair's getting thick. Oh my God. So those are the ones I use.
That's great. That's great. And we have a special product that Nikken alone has is the lactoferrin-based bone health pack. And that's amazing, because so many women our age are worried about their bone strength. And this actually, with the body, the way babies' bodies work to build bone, to maximize the facility of the movement of minerals in for storage to the cells, and then out to the other organs that need the minerals. So it accentuates the natural process for bones, instead of all of them, the medications just stop minerals from leaving the bones. So there's lots and lots of side effects. The bones look better in a scan maybe, or they don't get worse. They don't get better, but they don't get worse with the drugs. But then there's lots of side effects because the other organs aren't getting those minerals. But Nikken works with the natural system, and all their nutritionals are aimed that way. So any other comments on the nutritionals before we close?
I just wanted to say something. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I want to say something in the Bay Area, because we have a lot of pollen going on. I guess the allergies are just horrendous right now. And, when I go in the stores and I see all the stuff there, I mean, you go in the grocery, I'm sure we all see I mean, I haven't in years, but especially now with the Nikken products. But one of the things I love, I take the 10-4 and use the Vital Balance too. I love both of those in the morning, but I love the immunity. And I had a bronchial condition that was really serious for about 3 weeks just before I found Nikken. And one of the things, of course, bronchial condition. I heard a lot of stories about animals with Nikken products, and I love using these products with animals as well. But that immunity is phenomenal, especially for breathing problems, for all kinds of, and then the Power 5, the air filter, air purifier as well. So those two things are phenomenal, especially now, you know, coming into the spring season with the pollen and the allergies and everything. I have no problem with that. And people, that is a huge, huge problem. It's becoming more and more to suggest that as well.
Great. Yes, that's so true. I was talking to someone with who was actually using some Nikken products, but she hadn't thought of using the immunity for her seasonal allergies. So it's truly amazing. I have so many consultants and customers who rely on the immunity for those seasonal allergies. So we do have to close. Thank you all for sharing, and do invite your friends to join us. And whoops, I'm going to go back to the sharing here. And let's see here. So ask yourself if what you're doing today is getting you closer to where you want to be tomorrow. So all those small little decisions, surrounding yourself with Nikken products is a good way to go. So we invite you to become a customer. Start somewhere. If it's the immunity, the water, the insoles, the sleep system. Some of us jump all in. It's a big investment in your health, but it pays off for years and years to come. And you reduce the expenses of over-the-counter drugs and losing work time, but also mentally just feeling wonderful, as Carolyn described so well. And then if you want to share, it's a great thing for society and helping your friends and surrounding yourself with happy, healthy people. Become a part-time entrepreneur or a full-time entrepreneur. So thanks again for joining us, and do get back with the person who invited you to this program and learn more about Nikken and discover what it can do for you, because I think it's really a one-stop shop. Go to Nikken first. You know, if you have any kind of health challenges or imbalances or areas that you're worried about, preventively, because it's really about prevention, about self-care and active wellness. So these recordings are available on my YouTube channel and various other places. There's a number of them on the Royal Alliance, and we'll be here again next week. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, Andy.